I want to take us back in time here for a minute. Let's be honest. Marvel Rivals for now, February 21st, 2025, has been out essentially, officially, 2.5 months. They just had their biggest update for Season 1. Well, their newest update. I wouldn't say their biggest because we don't know what's to come. But they've had their biggest update thus far in Season 1 of their Battle Pass and where they are with everything. What's so fascinating to me, and it's a good thing, this is all a good thing, I want people to envision something, and I want to give real-life examples of this. Fortnite right now, which I'm a big proponent of, because Chapter 6, Season 2 just started today. And with that understanding and with that knowledge of Chapter 6, Season 2 starting for Fortnite and Marvel Rivals where they are, I find it absolutely fascinating, interesting, that there are so many people in the landscape of Fortnite world, which is fine, it's okay, that honestly think and get to a point of where they think Fortnite is dying, where it's dead, where it's not better, where it's not good, where it's trash, it's getting worse, it's getting watered down. It's all these negative propaganda, in my opinion, perspectives just to basically get clicks or to be so negative or upset on. And what I find absolutely fascinating is if you play Marvel Rivals right now, it is not the same game. The play style is very Overwatch, obviously, play style type. And you go to Fortnite, and the main criteria of that game when it started was Battle Royale. And you kind of can see where I'm going to go with this. If you go back in time, Fortnite started on the console September of 2017. And I can tell you this because I remember uploading the game. And I played it for, I would say, the first couple weeks it was out. Not intensely, but enough to where I can be dangerous and discuss about it. Right now, with where Marvel Rivals is, because it's a very similar timeline into Fortnite, with where Marvel Rivals is, it's very comparable to December of 2017. Right now, as we sit mid-February of 2025, early, generic time frame December of 2017 Fortnite. The similarities are incredibly eerie. And what's so amazing is we're in a whole different landscape and platform of creativity, content, conversation, gaming world, etc., right? It's a whole different landscape. But in regards to the overall appeal and conversation and narrative that's being put about Marvel Rivals that I see, which it overall has a really, really, really good following that I've seen on YouTube, the similarities in the conversations that were had about Fortnite when it came out were obviously similar. But what I find interesting in saying all of that is that obviously Marvel Rivals new, gonna have a gigantic, pre-starting following because it's Marvel, right? It's a giant corporation already. And they're starting this new game. It's basically Overwatch, reskinned, remodded, etc., and it's new. But what's interesting is if you actually dive deep into Marvel Rivals, which, again, having somebody who's seen all of this evolve over time, I'm not just a young kid who has no concept or no perspective. When you look at all of this, the level of depth that is in Marvel Rivals for where it is, again, I have to preface that, for where it is so eerily similar to Fortnite 2.5 months in on the console back in December of 2017. It is so eerily similar. And what I mean by that, when I hear people on talking about Fortnite and where it is now and, the nostalgia factor, and it's crazy because right now you can literally play OG Season 2, which roughly is around the same time in 2018, late 2017, early 2018, when we're at where we are right now with Marvel Rivals. If you go back in time to Fortnite back then, and you played it, it was so similar to Marvel Rivals now in this regard only. The level of depth in Marvel Rivals, it has depth, right? It has what it is. But the clunky nature, the new things that are needing to get figured out, the newness, the lack of creativity outside of the game itself in regards to skins, in regards to battle pass, in regards to options, in regards to anything. Marvel Rival doesn't have a grip on the culture, right? Fortnite does now because it's been 7.5 years. There's a grip on the culture with Fortnite right now. And when I mean culture, I mean all aspects of culture: music, video gaming, sports. You go into it, anime, obviously, right now it's Chapter 6. You go into it, and there's a legit, real conversation of you talk about Fortnite, and you start to talk about it's obviously more than a game. It's a reality of its own, and it's turning into its own conglomerate and its own monster. But if you look at Marvel Rivals right now, where it is as of the time of this recording / release of this video, February 21st, 2025, it is eerily similar to Fortnite in December of 2017 on the console. I can't speak for the PC or none of that. My remembrance of Fortnite back then was fun game, decent game, nothing crazy to write home about. And what I mean by that is there was no grip on the culture with Fortnite then. Fortnite was this PUBG wannabe battle royale systematic game that there were already games about that were around, and it was starting its own thing of a battle pass and what other companies were doing, etc. Very similar to what Marvel Rivals is doing right now, trying to kind of latch on to something that works. Obviously, it's not battle royale. It's a little bit different, but the idea is similar. It's a game jumping on to a new thing and trying to start, etc., and building hype and having devs listen to its customer base and all these things. It's free to play. It's all that, and it's fun to play. But I will admit to you, I don't think this will last because I think it's going to get better. Playing Marvel Rival, me as the consumer that I am in regards to these games, I'll play Marvel Rivals. Great game. Fun to play. I think it's great. I love all the YouTube content. I love all the tips and tricks to learn the game, and that's the other key to this. Fortnite back then, December of 2017, was a tips and tricks figuring out how to build game on top of Battle Royale to figure out how to be successful, right? And so when you watch Fortnite 7+ years ago at this point, almost 8 years ago at this point, you sit there and you say, Fortnite really wasn't all that, and it really wasn't that big of a deal when it first started. In the literal beginnings of Fortnite, the first 2.5, 3 months of Fortnite, the conversation around is this game going to be anything was not there. That's not to say it wouldn't become what it is today, but watching it and playing it back then, it's so similar to Marvel Rivals now. I'll play a couple of games of Marvel Rivals. I'll play a couple of quick games. And it's not because I don't really know a whole lot. It's not because I'm uncomfortable. I love the characters. I love the themes. I love the aspects of the different strengths and weaknesses of each character that you have to use. There's 3 different build sets. I get all this stuff. I understand it all. But I will admit, because there's not a full-on cultural grip of this game, because of the longevity that it doesn't have yet, or the history that it doesn't have yet, it feels so similar to Fortnite in the late 2017 era of when it began, the building rock portion of the game, that I only play it for maybe an hour and a half at most. And to be honest with you, it's not that I get bored. It's that I understand that unless you have a firm grasp of the game tile that it has, like Fortnite, Battle Royale. Battle Royale was, again, PUBG, a couple other games, like games that you played to like specifically buy and to specifically, contribute your time to because you felt like it was fun and important and your friends would play. I don't really have a whole lot of friends that play Marvel Rivals. I don't really have a whole lot of cultural affinity for Marvel Rivals. I love all the superheroes. They're awesome. They're cool to look at. The cut scenes are incredible. Everything about it is cool. But there's no grip on the culture. And when you watch the game and you see the game play itself out as you play in a match, there is still so many things that they need to work on. And you can see the surveys, you can see all the things and everything that they're trying to do to improve the game, which they're going to do. And it's going to get so much better. But the biggest thing, and the main reason I made this video, was because if you actually go into the conversation of Marvel Rivals, of where it is now, compared to the legacy conversation of Fortnite and the OG gamers, the guys who played the game in its inception in September of 2017 on the console, or if not on PC around that time, if not before, one of my, I would call it hilarious, the hilarity comments that I've seen over the last 3 to 4 months on Fortnite, because I've been playing Fortnite a lot, is, well, the OG skins, like, they brought them back, and it just makes it seem like everything we did 7 years ago now doesn't matter because we put in all this time to have these skins, and they were rare, and they were this, and they were that. And I totally understand that. And I totally can see that conversation. But what's so funny to me is when you look at Marvel Rivals and where it is, and how bare bones relative to what it could eventually be, and for somebody who is getting new into this game and seeing how it's playing out and how clunky, different, it's not smooth, it's just there's so much newness and understanding that you have to understand to play a game like this at a successful level, and the player base is huge for its beginning. How long will it stay? All those things. My point being is, there are people who legitimately, if you were playing Marvel Rivals right now when it starts, like it's been on for 2.5 months, and you're going to sit here 5 years from now, in the 2030s, if this game is still around, hopefully it is, I hope it is, it's a great game, I think it's fun, I think it's great. But if you're going to sit there and complain at the fact that you have a quote-unquote skin that you earned through a battle pass, through the battle pass that they've provided, right? Like if you got this Blood Moon Knight skin, right? And all it is just a buttered up version of whatever the other one is, right, that you get for your character that you use. And 5 years from now, you're going to sit here and be upset that they're going to re-release this skin because you worked so hard in the early stages of the game to earn these things and to get to where you got to, because you shed so much time and you earned and learned the game and all these things. What makes me interested and fascinated about those perspectives, when people got so upset that the OG, Brit Raider or whatever they're called, I'm not an expert on these things, but when you had the black guy skin in Fortnite, and then the girl skin, the OG skins, like the original skins that you could buy / earn in the either battle pass and or in the shop back in 2017, those two skins, and you know which ones I'm talking about. When people get upset at the fact that other people have now got those skins because the devs decided to re-release in the shop those opportunities to get those on an OG mode or whatever, and people are like, oh, now it's all worthless, all my time was worthless. I want you to go play, for those of you that have that mindset, I want you to go play Marvel Rivals right now. Because if you have that affinity for a game in such an early development portion of its time and for where it is, and you're going to sit there and be upset at the fact that you can't hold on to this and hoard this forever and have your status stay, oh, I was there at the beginning, and that it's a big deal. Ultimately, when you really break it down, it does not matter. It comes back to principle, right? If you truly love something, if you truly felt like you earned something and you got something that you played and you worked for and you worked your tail off for, and other people don't have it, for you to sit there and say, I'm upset at the fact that someone else got it in a different way and that devalues my skin that I earned early portion of the game, think about the person who got that skin later down the road, whether it was in this last couple of months or whatever when they re-released it in the OG mode of Fortnite, and they got it. For you to be upset at that and to be sad or mad at that aspect of the fact that they gave that up, or that they finally, the devs said, we're going to re-release all these old skins and let you have them and be thrilled about it. And what's amazing about that and incredible about that is those kind of people who are upset at that aspect of a skin, a cosmetic, etc., who are saying Fortnite is trash now because they're selling out to get rid of all their stuff and all this and all that stuff. Go play Marvel Rivals right now. This game is so bare bones, beginning new, that so many people outside of the pros and the new people who are really good at games like this, outside of that, this is such a new game, such a new type of game, that if somebody 5 years from now got mad at the fact that somebody got a Blood Moon Knight skin because of the first season battle pass that they created, and they're all upset at the fact that they couldn't get it and that, oh, now it's devalued because all of a sudden they have an opportunity to get the skin again. It didn't matter. Now it doesn't matter because they didn't play the game in 2025 and it's now 2030 and I can't have it. The game is so bare bones. Fortnite was so bare bones back then. I don't blame it if, first of all, if you weren't old enough or if you weren't in the realm of wanting to play Fortnite, because let's be honest, Fortnite was very clunky, very hard to play. The culture around Fortnite at that time was very minimal. There were not a lot of people who were interested in playing Fortnite. And then those that were interested in playing Fortnite and those that did love playing Fortnite, which good for them, they all of a sudden now have this affinity and this frustration with Epic Games stating, oh, well, they're selling their soul because they're just giving away all their old skins again. Shouldn't that be something that you would want more customer base and more people to jump into your game to provide anyway? So for people to be upset at the fact that they had a skin for 7 years sitting in their basement because they could just hold it over someone's head saying, well, I've been playing since the beginning. The game was not as good as it is now. I will admit to that. I didn't jump back into Fortnite until May of 2024, Chapter 5, Season 3. Who's to say when Chapter 10 comes around in 4 years for Fortnite, it comes around, or however many years it takes, and I sit there and I've got a Chapter 5 Season 3 skin, and it's Megalodon, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, they re-release Megalodon in a couple years. Why would I be frustrated at that because of the fact that I was there for when the season was around? Because Megalodon now is deemed as this, at the time, let's just say in 5 years, Megalodon is deemed as this giant overlord skin that everybody wants to have. I'm just using an example. Why would I be upset at the fact that they're re-releasing that? I liked the Megalodon because I liked that season, and I liked that time frame of my life, and I liked that time frame of where everything was in Fortnite, and that's what got me back into Fortnite. I know a lot of people don't like Chapter 5 Season 3. I totally get it. I really do. I liked it for my own reasons, right? But let's say that skin 5 years from now all of a sudden becomes a big deal and they re-release it. Why would I be upset at the fact that that's the case? Because that season was trash, but now that guy is so valuable within the game's storyline, the game's lore, the game's culture, the game's this. Do you see where I'm going with this? I find it so fascinating that when I play Marvel Rivals, it literally takes me right back to the early days of Fortnite on the PS4. And I have a PS5. And I see that, and I start to question, and I start to hear people get all upset, all frustrated, all mad at the fact that Fortnite is reselling skins or reselling items from Season 1 or the OG original time before Season 1. And people are like, well, what's the point now? Why did I even keep those skins? Because you had those skins because to you it values the time in which you started playing the game. And now that the game is a big deal, you're a part of the reason why it's a big deal. You're a part of the reason why they have more customer base, why they have more people, why they have more audience, why they have more reach in the culture that is really not just the gaming industry, but the world. You should be proud of that. You should be proud of the fact that they're willing to, 7 years later, deem an OG skin as a big deal. You shouldn't sit there and be upset at the fact that, oh, all of a sudden I'm selling, they're reselling a skin that for its time frame and for its timeline in which it came out, that all of a sudden you're going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm mad and upset because now my skin isn't deemed as a big deal. You should sit there, set up on the pedestal, and be like, I got it before all this. I got it. That's what's sweet, right? You should yourself feel that within your own self to say, that's awesome that I actually got it before all this. I can claim that I did it. Why be mad at the fact that they're reselling it? Why be mad at the fact that they're re-upping whatever they're putting together in the game to make it more popular to a newer audience? Again, if they do the same thing 5 years from now with different skins or different chapters or whatever, wouldn't you find that cool that you got it when it originally came out? From your perspective, I find it very interesting that when a game is at a bare bones level, such as a game like Marvel Rivals is exactly right now at this point, and I all of a sudden go back in time a couple months ago, and I hear people sitting there getting upset at the fact that they are so mad that Epic decided to resell skins from 7 years ago that were new when the game was new, because the game wasn't what it is today. Fortnite is 10, 15, 20 times better today than it was 7 years ago. It's so much better. There's so much more energy around the game, culture around the game, information around the game. There's so much around the game. It's more than just a game now. I mean, it's still a game, but there's so much more around it. And when I play with my nephews and I play with his friends and all those people online, it turns into more of a conversation than about the game, than about what's in the next shop, what's in the next wrap, what's in the next skin, what's in the next thing. Are you going to collect that? Are you going to take that? Are you going to get that? Are you going to buy the one that's been re-released for the first time? Like the Travis Scott skin is a big example. When Travis Scott comes back, do you think there's anything like that in Marvel Rivals right now at all? There's nothing like that. You can't sit there and say, oh, in Marvel Rivals, they're going to put in, let's just throw out a random person. Let's say they put in Deadpool, right, for a limited time, or they put in a random, like Crash Bandicoot. Let's just say they throw in Crash Bandicoot since we're talking about PlayStation. They put in Crash Bandicoot in Marvel Rivals, and he's only in the shop for a week, and he never comes back for years. And people are like, I want the Crash Bandicoot one because of the da-da-da-da-da, right? I'm just throwing examples out there. But you're going to be upset at the fact that you could never get that skin back if they ever did re-release the Travis Scott. I'm bringing up the examples because ultimately it's fascinating when the game is at a bare bones level and people got so upset at that conversation because the game ain't nothing the way it was back then that it is today. And it should be a pride point that you are where you are, right? It should be a pride point that you are at a level of the game that you can play and say that you played it at the original level. But at the same time, it's so bare bones that the people who buy it now probably don't have an ideology of what that game was like back then. There's a lot to uncover there. There's a lot to unpack. But ultimately, I find it valuable because when I play Marvel Rivals, I'm playing it for the gameplay itself, and I'm playing if there's something I can get out of it, that's great. But for the most part, I don't understand why there was qualms about Fortnite back in the day when it originated, because that's exactly how Marvel Rivals is right now. It's in its origination phase. When Fortnite was in its origination phase, nobody cared about all the other stuff I just mentioned. But Marvel Rivals is beginning, and I feel like all the people who are upset at how Fortnite's getting worse and worse and worse, I'm like, do you not realize the building blocks that Fortnite has put upon itself over the years has drastically improved? Like, the game itself has drastically improved. I was not a fan of Chapter 6 Season 1's theme. But what I will say, in Fortnite, but what I will say is the game, the aesthetics, everything drastically improved. Aesthetically, gameplay-wise, movements, all the things that have building blocks of Fortnite over time, dramatically improved compared to when it first began. And if somebody in December decided, oh, OG skins are back, I want to see what that's like and or play that series, good for them. It brings more audience to the game. It brings more people into the game and makes it exciting to play again. So it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? To hear people be upset at something that came out when it was in such a bare bones phase. And that's what Marvel Rivals is. It's in bare bones phase. I guarantee you 5 years from now, if this game is, hopefully it should be, still in the conversation of things, that you're going to hear people start complaining about, oh, well, they're re-releasing things that they came out with back in the day, and because now it's a big deal or whatever, they're going to make it seem like it's a big deal and they're selling their soul. It's like they're not. They as a company have either improved the conversation of the game itself, or they have found a way to make it something that is bigger than what the game has become, which is what Fortnite has done. And the game now, Fortnite, with all the different modes, all the different natures, all the different everything about it, literally, no zero build, regular battle royale, basically turning into Roblox in some regards with all its creativity, Lego, and obviously the Guitar Hero one where you basically can do festival. All that stuff that's been added over the last year and a half, like, if you really start to break it down, it is unrecognizable to 2017. And right now, Marvel Rivals is in that same phase of what Fortnite was in 2017. It's in the exact same section. And if I were to sit here and be upset at the fact that I could not get this first-time Battle Pass skin, I'm just using this as an example. There's probably earlier ones that I'm forgetting. Pre-order, whatever. There's probably other ones that I'm totally forgetting. But people to be upset 5 years from now if they can't get the pre-order version of it because, oh, I was there when it started and I'm a big deal. I think your ego might be a little inflated, buddy. Like, it might be a little big. It might be a little bigger than what you would expect it to be. It ain't that big of a deal. At the end of the day, it's a game, right? And I just found it interesting when I was playing Marvel Rivals the last couple of days when I first uploaded it onto my game in the last week, my PlayStation 5 in the last week. The epiphany came to me. How come people get so upset at original skins in Fortnite disappearing and then coming back years later because they want to sell a buck? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Sure, okay, there's a lore, there's a I get it, there's like a status to it that you got an original skin from when the game came out. I totally get all that. But at the same time, it's like, can't you also accept the fact that if they do want to sell a buck off that and make it again and resell it, that you can say, I got it originally, with whether it's your close friends, whether it's people online, no matter what the circumstance is. You can sit there and be like, my flex is I got that at a certain time earlier back in the day. And it's just interesting to me how overall that narrative and that concept becomes really becomes watered down to a lot of people, because playing Marvel Rivals right now is at such a bare bones level that when Fortnite was at such a bare bones level, nobody cared that you had an original skin from a game that didn't really have any influx on the culture of anything. And now that it's such a high influx on culture and that its gameplay is so incredible, its aesthetics are unbelievable, they only keep improving, their battle passes get better, people, oh, this battle pass is trash. I'm like, compared to what? Like, again, I didn't like the theme of Season 6, Chapter 6, Season 7, or Jesus, excuse my language, Chapter 6, Season 1, I didn't like the theme. That doesn't mean that everything else about the game didn't improve. The aesthetics were unbelievable in that season. I thought the graphics improved. I thought so many things improved about Fortnite after Chapter 5. Even Remix, I thought it got better. I just didn't like the theme. But that didn't mean I thought, I thought the Battle Pass was trash because it's just all these Japanese characters. I just wasn't interested in Japanese characters. That's my preference. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to think the game's gotten trash. It dramatically gets better. When something gets better over time and improves over time, sometimes we take for granted where it came from, and that's where Marvel Rivals is right now. It's in such a bare bones beginning stage that we take it for granted for where it is in 5 years, if it's still around, and it's improved and it's gotten better, and its metrics and its graphics and it's everything about it improves. But we take it for granted because of where it's gone. And with how good of a marketing team Epic has, I think what people start to do is they start to glamorize where it was when it was in its bare bones stage, and it wasn't even that great of a game. Sure, it was a good game. It was fun. It was interesting. But it was so fun, interesting, and different in the time frame in which it first came out compared to the way it is today. You play OG Fortnite today, it is nothing, absolutely nothing relatively comparable to actually what Fortnite was back then at all, period. And then people want to glamorize, oh, well, they just want to sell a buck to try and do it. Why not? Why not? That's my rant. That's my video. 30 minutes. You can tell that I'm a chatterbox. If you finished watching this entire 30-minute video and you like all my other content with my daughter and I, and you like to see us play Roblox and obviously do, OBs or obbies, as some people like to claim in the chat. We're almost hitting 300 viewers, which I'm super thrilled about. I started all this right after Christmas of 2024, and we're now going to be walking into March. My daughter turns 5 in a couple days. And, I've got my second baby here. He's roughly 2 weeks old. And I do NBA Live. I do NBA 2K16 Nostalgia Knicks videos. I've got a bunch of recordings in the slot. I just got to get them in. I'm going to try and do some more. I'm going to try and do some Madden stuff, even though Madden is at a really dark point right now in the world. And then obviously MLB The Show. I want to do like a reform of that. I want to do my own franchise. Creativity's not dead here. So if you keep watching my stuff and keep loving my stuff and you want to play Marvel Rivals with me, feel free to make it happen. I need some players to play with. Obviously, Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 2 started today, so I bought the Battle Pass because the first Battle Pass I bought since Remix, which was now about 3 months ago. I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty excited. So thanks again for watching my content, and I do it all for my kids. None of this is for me. I could care less about what I do. The whole goal of all of this is to make sure that their life is in a better place if that's where this goes. If not, it's all just for fun and games, and it's for stuff to look back on in the future and laugh at. So thanks again for watching. Have a good one, and enjoy the show. Enjoy the Battle Pass for Fortnite this season. Enjoy Marvel Rivals. Enjoy all the games that you love to play. My creativity is just going to keep going here on the CMO Buckets channel. So thanks again, everybody.